Hey, what's up? This is my top 10 movies of 2022. All the movies I'm gonna be ranking were released from this year, not from like different years or anything. These are just movies that like I watched this year myself. So there probably were a couple movies that I didn't get to watch, like Babylon, like Avatar. Those movies were like released recently. They're just too long. I just didn't feel like watching them. But yeah, the way that I rank my movies is on how they kept me entertained through the movie, or the interesting and like important concepts that they have in the movie, and how progressive they are, or how they relate to me in any way. Honestly, that's just how I rank my movies. So I'm not gonna waste too much time. I have my book right here where I've been writing down like every thought I had about it and everything. So I'm just gonna start right off at number 10. So number 10 is gonna be Jurassic World Dominion, directed by Colin Trevorrow. I know, I'm starting off this list with like a blockbuster popcorn movie. I know, not the best way to start this list. This movie just had everything that I expected, just like dinosaurs eating people, and my favorite 3 people from the original series. Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and sexy Sam Neill. Yeah, they had me. I was hooked. What can I say? The ending was basically the same as every other Jurassic Park movie, but don't fix what's not broken, you know what I'm saying? It just had me. Number 9 is gonna be The Gray Man, directed by the Russo brothers. This movie just had like some of my favorite actors working right now. Ryan Gosling, Ana de Armas, and Chris Evans. Chris Evans. Chris plays a villain role in this movie, so I mean that shit up. I mean it up. I just wish he'd murder me. There's a certain level of humor in this movie, and Ryan Gosling definitely worked with that the best for me. He was just so funny. And it definitely helped the action in the movie. Ana de Armas did what needed to be done in this film. She was hilarious as well in this film. Her fight sequences in this movie were spectacular, and she looked great doing it. Was it a forgettable movie? Yeah, it kind of was. So number 8 is going to be Pearl, directed by Ty West. This movie was set before the events of X, the first film. It was set in 1918 during the influenza pandemic. This movie just gelled really well together for me. I just love films that humanize villains while also hammering the point that these individuals are morally deranged and just not well. The pandemic tie-ins were so good. They were so good. This film looked amazing as well. Like the sequence between Pearl and her mom when they were like fighting before the other stuff happened. I just thought it looked amazing. The acting was amazing. I felt like I was in the room. I felt like I wanted to, it was good. I just really liked it. I don't know how to say his last name, but David Corenswet? I don't know how to say his last name, but he looked good. He looked really good. Number 7 has to go to The Northman by Robert Eggers. I've been a fan of Robert Eggers' work since The Witch. He's just a really cool but really weird white dude, and he's just really good at it. I eat that up. I respect it. When I first saw the trailer for this film and saw Bork in it, I was gonna be in that theater. Bork did what needed to be done. She did what needed to be done in this movie. I honestly wish I saw more of her in this movie. This movie was stunning. This movie was beautiful. This movie it had a lot, but I guess I was expecting a lot more, especially with Bork, like I said. So it let me down just a little bit. It still delivered like amazing visuals and raw performances from Alexander Skarsgård, as well as Nicole Kidman. That lady was so weird in this movie. Very, I wanted to fight her. Number 6 has to go to Prey by David Trachtenberg. I eat up anything that has like Native Americans and that shows like their culture, their way of life. At the same time, I eat up anything that has to do with the Predatorverse. This movie gave me everything and more. It was just so scary and grounded and honestly a little funny. It had amazing fight sequences. It made me feel even less equipped to survive in the wild, for sure. Number 5 is going to go to Glass Onion by Rian Johnson. All I have to say really is if you're not willing to do what Helen did for her sister, I don't want anything to do with you. Number 4 is going to go to Nope by Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele directed an alien movie with Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Steven Yeun. What can go wrong? What else do you expect besides just greatness? Just greatness. It was amazing. It was beautiful. Yeah. it did what needed to be done. So my number 3 is gonna go to Bodies, Bodies, Bodies by Helena Rain. Or Helena Rain. I'm not sure how to say her first name. I didn't look it up. I just feel like though a lot of people didn't like this movie, but I loved it. I loved it. I might just like toxic people. I don't know. But this movie was definitely tailored to younger generations, and I enjoyed it. I just liked how the characters were just so brutally honest with each other. They communicated everything they were thinking about, feeling. I loved it. I mean, sometimes the way they communicated to each other was definitely the worst way possible. But hey, at least they're talking to each other. Rachel Sennett was my favorite. Her line about the podcast. It takes a lot of work. Pete Davidson definitely didn't disappoint me. I was a little worried about him being in it, but it didn't disappoint me. Amanda Stenberg held this movie down for me. She was putting in the work. I want to see her in more films. My number 2, this was tough. It's gonna go to Barbarian by Zach Cregger. This film subverted every expectation I had about the movie. It was super entertaining, it was horrifying, and so funny to watch. I'm so glad the director succeeded in getting this movie made. Ooh. This movie was almost perfect, and I say almost perfect simply because I feel like the second sequence with, I forgot his name, with Justin Long, it felt a little jarring, and I feel like that's the movie's fault for that feeling. So I'd only have to put it second just for that. But then once it got the train rolling again, I was like, yes! So my number 1 of my top movie of 2022 has to go to Everything Everywhere All at Once by the Daniels. Everything Everywhere All at Once is honestly the best way I can explain how I felt watching this movie. This film just kept me so entertained from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. It delivered some of the most out of left field surprises. It did callbacks to things in the film that I didn't think needed callbacks. It was hilarious. It was so emotionally moving. Don't watch this movie if you have mom problems. Honestly, if you have mom problems and dad problems, this movie is just made for people with problems connecting with your parents, you know? This movie for me felt like about breaking cycles. It had this optimistic loneliness feel with it, you know? I feel like it came to a point with that in the rock scene. Michelle Yeoh's performance tied this whole film together, and it was stellar. Her acting, her ability to interweave just feeling lost as well as headstrong and going through all these different dimensions and just showing all of those emotions to the audience as clear as she did. Just well done. Well done. Stephanie Sue as Joy supported the out of Michelle Yeoh. Her performance, her bouncing from this like insecure coming of age character to this like villainous, hateful, really stylish villain. Like her bouncing between those two, she did that really well. And then she climaxed it so well, like all together, like she meshed it together really well. I don't know if I'm making sense right now. I'm kind of going off the dome for this one. This movie was just, oh, beautiful. Her character just seemed to represent the idea of you getting the best as well as the worst parts of your parents. And this movie like strives to show like what you do with those parts is important and will affect you how you go on with your life. And I like how in this movie, her character chose to stick with her family, especially after seeing how much her mother wanted to stick with her. I thought just a connection to your parents and your family was just pushed so hard in this movie, and I loved it. This movie was perfect. 10 out of 10. Honestly, 12 out of 10. Honestly, 1,000 out of 10. It had dildos. What can I say? But thank you for watching this video. This is my top 10 movies of 2022. If you made it this far, come see. Give me a little New Year's kiss. Little New Year's kiss. For you. Just for you. Have a good day.